And welcome everybody. We're going to go into our first event now, and we're going to the first event for the main sessions, which is about 21st century ramp. So I'd like to invite some of my team colleagues up on the stage. We're going to talk about the digital activities under the wing in turnarounds, timestamps, and aircraft data. So I'd like to welcome my team colleagues. It's Massimo Ciccetti, the head of innovation and processing for IATA. It'll keep going. He's the secretary of the GAD. Massimo Ciccetti, welcome. Marta Gomez-Andrio. Again, innovation and performance improvements for Qatar Aviation Services. Sorry, a little bit tongue-tied. And Mr. Robert Sands, please come up as well. We're going to actually have a session on digital ramp in the 21st century. Thank you. Your mic should be on.
My mic is on now? No, it's not. Can you hear me? Oh, thank you so much. And thank you, Sean, for the introduction. Actually, it's a pleasure to work with you within the Ground Operation Automation Group, as you are leading as a chairman brilliantly. So it was interesting now in hearing the CEO speech and the CEO talks about, the future and innovation and the things. So if we want to know how much is our opportunity, we have to consider that innovation, digitalization, and automation can actually bring a lot of benefit. So overall, if we look at the traffic growth and the next opportunity that we can have big opportunity to reduce cost per turnaround, operational delays, ground damage, and injuries primarily. So this represent, in essence, almost 18.5 billion of costs that we can reduce over the next 10, 12 years. All this, we're trying to understand how much is the size of it. This represents 1.4% of the overall forecast industry revenue, and for an airline perspective, 33% of improvement in operational margin. So we, ground operation, have always been only cost. So we don't generate a penny of revenue. We are not passengers, we are not cargo. But actually, if we are able to start to think differently, to start to see that technology and innovation actually is a reality today, we can definitely have some really good opportunity to improve our operations, make more efficient, and saving cost. So with that, I want to launch a small video of introduction of our work that we have done in our ground operation and digitalization working group that give an overview of the type of standards that we are doing. So please, if we can play the video. left Prague when we were talking about the timestamps turnaround. Marta participated as on behalf of Qatar Aviation Services in the development of the standards. So what is next? The next is that we want to start to display the success story of our members that are taking what we do in a group, bring it home, and start the implementation of it. So with great pleasure, I hand over to our colleague Robert Sands, Ramp Operation Managers, and Marta Gomez-Andreu, Manager Innovation and Operational Improvement, to walk us through the Qatar Aviation Services experience in the implementation of the timestamps turnaround of IATA. Please,
Thank you.
So much.
Good morning.
Thank you, Massimo. Good morning, bonjour, everyone. I would like to start sharing just an interesting conversation we had yesterday when we were talking about romanticism in all schools. So I would like to share with you how I started in my aviation career in the RAM. So I was a turnaround coordinator for many years. Now I'm managing the turnaround coordination department in Qatar Aviation Services. So that's why it's for me a pleasure to present you this case study. To start, I would like to share first a little bit about who we are. So CAS, Qatar Aviation Services, is the award-winning premier ground handling organization based in Doha. We provide ground handling services to all types of customers, from airlines, freighters, heads of states, to VIP and private flights. CAS was established back in 2000, and we opened our first station in in India, Delhi, as LCSC back in 2019. Our vision is to be a leading and sustainable ground handling organization who consistently delivers safe and value-based services. Just a little bit about our figures. So we handle more than 30 airlines and around 4 to 5 cargo flights, and we are increasing these figures. In a peak operation, we handle more than 85,000 passengers, and we process more than 17 million in a year. Talking about the baggage, during peak days of operation, we handle more than 63,000, which means approximately more than 50 million baggage per year. Our fleet of motorized equipment, it's above 2,300, and non-motorized, it's 5,200, and we are increasing that figure. We produce more than 400 load sheets per day. Approximately, it's more than 139,000 load sheets per year. When we talk about cargo, we handle more than 7,000 tons, which equals almost 2.6 millions in a year. PRM, Special Handling Services, peak days, more than 1,500, and equals to approximately 46,000 PRM service in a year. When we talk about one of our most important things, our staff, we are having almost 50 different nationalities with more than 5,200 employees. And with regards to the aircraft movement, we handle more than 540 operations per day, which equals to 169,000 in a year. However, these figures, we face challenges that we believe might be also common to you. Sorry, some technical.
Delay clicker.
Okay. So as a service provider of a hub operations, we are subject to a large percentage of connecting passengers, baggage, and even cargo, with minimum connection time of 45 minutes. Turnaround visibility and reduced time. We are gathering a lot of information from multiple sources. As well, we are, along with the demand, increasing demand in reduced turn times. So the need for a centralized point of coordination between a ground handler and other stakeholders becomes more and more relevant. One comment we were discussing before about the standardization. Definitely, we are having and handling different customers with their multiple SLAs. So for us, at times, it's just juggling between SLAs, trying to standardize and to enhance a better visibility also for our teams on the way how we handle the operation. Talking about the flight delays. So definitely for us, it's a challenge to gather all the information, take the better decisions in real time to avoid or reduce any ground handling delay or operational delay. Bigger or smaller, when we talk about airport capacity, so we all are somehow constrained in our work infrastructure. So that's why we need to enable greater solutions to not to impact our ground handling operation. The future of ground handling, to address all those kind of challenges that we were discussing, so definitely we need digital technology, and we need to be more flexible from a ground handling perspective. The automation of data, it's the key. So we should be able to gather transparent and accurate data of all our turnarounds to enable us to take better decisions and take whatever are the required preventive actions. Artificial intelligence and threat detection. So with that, we might expect a rise in threat detections through our smart algorithms and the use of our artificial intelligence. Definitely, there will be an increase of reports and analytics that needs to be used in order to address, from the holder perspective, the required agreements to improve our operation. So setting the stage, the challenge. So how we were very reactive at the very beginning. Basically, we were having a turnaround coordinator. We were working with pen and paper. We were determined by any human factor, any mistake that any individual can do. At the end, the result was a multiple source coming from different entities, from different companies, and the risk of having an impact in our operation was also high. How we fix it? At the very first stage, we created what we call Q-Mobile, which was our previous application. It was an electronic solution, basically, but for the turnaround coordinator, the TRC, kind of a tablet where he or she were updated manual timestamps to keep a record of each and every activity. But at the end, we converted the pen and paper into a tablet, so again, we were still doing timestamps without really having a benefit, I would say, of the way how we were handling aircraft.
Thank you, Robert. So we listened and we learned. We held several workshops with all the users, and we asked, how can we help? What's working? What's not? Did we miss anything? And also, what would you like to see in the new application? So when we collected all the feedback, we decided to revamp the whole application. So we decided to create a new system architecture. We also decided to create a new design, new name, new logo, at the end, a new identity. We also included new functionalities to make the solution more user-friendly. And we also created new modules for other stakeholders. We also created a module for the system administrators where they could configure the business rule in a more easier way and also to manage the users. We also decided to make some kind of collaboration with the airport, Matar IT, and also with a startup company called OSCAS, who is collaborating with the European Space Agency. We are working with them to create artificial intelligence and create a dashboard in order to monitor turnaround activities based on exceptions. We decided to automate as much data as possible. So far, we have automated the information from the DCS, BRS, aircraft sensors, and also with some in-house system we use to track baggage and cargo. Next year, we are planning to implement also IoT devices and camera vision to continue automating the information. As Massimo says, CAS is an active member of ground handling automation and digitalization working group. So we decided to implement the IATA terminology and the IATA standards. We also implemented IATA XML schema to exchange the information between the systems. Some examples of the automation with the DCS, we receive the information of the flight status. We know when the flight is open, is closed, when they are boarding, and when the load seat is released, even though we also receive the information when the load seat has been accepted or rejected by the captain. From the BRS, we receive all offloading information, and we also receive all the timings and the location of the bag. From our internal systems, we receive all the details related to baggage delivery and also related to cargo. We know when the first cargo has been offloaded from the aircraft. We also know when the first bag has been offloaded from the aircraft. From the aircraft systems, we receive the information from the sensors, and we also know when the compartment and the cabin doors have been opened or closed. Obviously, we faced some challenges during the implementation. We had some restrictions related to data sharing, and we also have to integrate the application with multiple DCSs. And one, I think, is one of the challenges we all face when we implement a project is adopting the new terminology and the user get used to it. Some examples of IATA, the old terminology we were using and the terminology we are using with IATA is before we were using FOD checks. Now we have changed and we are using free of FOD. Or we were using ATC checks and now we are using aircraft damage checks. Another change was that with the old Q-Mobile, we were using a mix between tasks and events. So now IATA is based on events. So after all this work, finally, we implemented the new solution.
Thank you, Marta. So I would like to ask, is there any Formula One fan in the room? Yes? Verstappen, Hamilton, Leclerc, maybe Ocon or Gasly. Anyway, I will try to link what we define for our new application. So, like in Formula One, the pilot and the car, they go to the boxes, and there is a highly qualified team who, with the minimum time, they try to save and do all the functions in a safe manner to ensure that the car goes back on time. So we believe that our team is also highly qualified and skilled, and they all work together, synchronized, to achieve the same goal, the aircraft departing safe and on time. So that's why we call our application Pit-Turn.
Yeah. So now I will show you a few functionalities of the application. The common screen, okay, it has the user details, and also in the right side of the screen, you can see, I think I'm facing the same technical issue now. Okay, then you can see on the right side the user profile, and also you can see an icon of a phone. We have implemented call functionality in the device, so the user doesn't need to have a phone or doesn't need to have a tablet. They just click there, check the contact list, and they do the call. If you see, there is another icon with the notifications. They receive, in these sections, they receive any alert related to the flight. Any delay, or for example, if there is any offloading required, they can also see that there is an event happening. You can also see next to the icon, we also implemented real-time weather conditions. Okay, now. Real-time weather conditions, and if they click in that icon, they can also see the processes to follow when these weather conditions, if we are in red alert, they will see what are the processes to follow during red weather. In the main screen, you can see the list of flights. You can see departures, you can see arrivals, and if there is a turnaround, they can see also the flight linked to these flights. If, for example, we click in a departure flight, okay, in the upper side of the screen, you can see all details related to the flight they are working with. They can see registration, aircraft number, route, gate, stand. They can also see if the flight the acceptance is open, is closed, if they are boarding, if they are not boarding, if the low seat has been rejected or accepted by the captain, and more detailed information on the timings, because this application is also linked to ACDM. In the center of the screen, you can see all the activities related to the turnaround. We have a vertical time bar where the TRC can see, or the turnaround coordinator can see in which phase of the turnaround they are. If the activity is manual, we didn't automate it yet, they need to click and update the information manually, meaning at what time they have started the activity. If the activity has been started on time, the color will be green. If the activity was delayed, the color will be red. And if they are about to miss this activity, it will be in amber. If you can see, if we have automated the feed of this data, they will have an icon indicating this timing is coming automatically. And also the timing will be highlighted with the same color code I have explained.
Okay, so I want also to show you we have two functionalities within the application. One, it's called VAT. We, in CAS, track any baggage arrival delivery service for the first bag, for the last bag, and even for the crew baggage. So with this functionality, our turnaround coordinator will be able to capture whatever is the reason for the failure for us to generate data to take better decisions in the future. The other application, which is the, as Marta said before, aircraft damage checks, it was previously called ATC inspection. So our turnaround coordinator conducts a walk-around upon arrival and prior to the departure of the aircraft. They conduct visual checks. At the same time, they are also capturing pictures for a specific location. With the new, in the past, just to make it easier to understand, basically our turnaround coordinator were capturing a lot of pictures, more than 100, just to keep a record also of each and every area. But it was a mess, and whenever we wanted to offload that to upload that information in the system, it was a challenge for us. With the new features, so the turnaround coordinator will select first the aircraft type. In this case, it's a 380. Then he will select which is the area that he or she will start capturing the pictures. And then from there, he will get like a record of which are the mandatory areas that needs to be inspected. On top of that, on the bottom left-hand side, you will see that there is a time reflected there, which is showing now 10 minutes. The reason why our KPIs is within the arrival of the aircraft, we need to conduct this full inspection after offloading, of course, within 10 minutes. All those pictures, within 30 minutes. This is the time left for the turnaround coordinator to complete the task. After that, all those pictures are uploaded in the server, and it will be easier to be tracked per aircraft registration or aircraft type, or just going specifically to whatever is the compartment or area that we want to check.
So if you see, in the right side, we have more icons. So we included more information for the turnaround coordinator to monitor the flight. So if they click in every icon, they can see more detailed information, for example, for the passengers. They will see passenger figures, including PRMs, and the number of PRMs in the flight, and also the category of assistance this passenger requires. They have also the information on connections. So they can monitor the inbound flights and the status of those flights so they can make decision whether to wait or not. And when they click in every connecting flight, they see the passenger figures and also they see the baggage incoming to the flight. If there is any incident or anything that they feel need to be reported, they have a section when they can write any event or any report to be done. As I said before, we have an integration with VRS, so when they get in the bell icon, when they get the notification offloading required, they can click in this icon and they can see all the timings and all the status of the offloading. They can see if the bag has been offloaded, or maybe that bag has been restated again. So they can see that at what time this bag was loaded again into the aircraft and the location of that bag. In CAS, the turnaround coordinator is responsible to finalize the delay. So they have the option to select the IATA code allocated for that delay, and they can also write any comment related to the delay. For Qatar Airways, 3-4 years ago, we developed another solution to calculate or to have a recommendation on potable water. And this recommendation is dynamic. It's based on passengers load, route, aircraft type. So when the truck operator uplifts the potable water, the turnaround coordinator can see the recommendation in the system. So they go with the crew, they confirm, okay, this is the percentage uplifted in the aircraft, and they confirm. The moment they confirm, this information goes to the weight and balance system for the load sheet calculation. Also, in Qatar Aviation Services, we use RAM Mobile to perform the ramp clearance. So we have implemented in this application like a backup. In case RAM Mobile is down and they are not able to see the documentation, here they will be able to download the last version of the loading instruction, and also if the load sheet has been released, they can see here the last version of the load sheet. And the last thing they can check is the missing passenger list in case there is no show passengers. And this is a quick summary overview of the application we just recently launched in Doha. Thank you.
Oh. Congratulations, what a journey, what a journey. So the first thing for any of our audience, if you want to ask a question either through our application, through the tool, or through the microphone, so I want to open for question and answer to our colleagues that have started this journey and this implementation. Are there any questions? Well, I will start to ask the first question then. So that was quite of a journey. So I want to ask you two, what were the challenges in having this change? I mean, moving from paper or partially digital, maybe through an application, through a full automated function. I mean, quite a change, right? So what are the challenges? Technical challenge or whatever? Please.
Yeah, my personal opinion, I mean, one of the most critical challenges, I would say, is the culture. People are used to work on a manner, on a way. They are trained, maybe they got comfortable after some period of time. So at times it's difficult, no? To, even if you might feel that it's better, to change that, to improve the overall process. So at times you might feel that there is an additional time required for people to understand. So when we were applying that in the new application and even with the terminology, so it was a matter of repetition and having these sessions, briefings, explaining, get feedback to succeed.
Yeah. And from a technical point of view, I would say that the major challenge is the buy-in, the change of the IATA XML schema with the stakeholders, because we need to explain the new concept and the new parameters. So I would say that was one of the challenges too, and mainly when the stakeholder is not IATA partner, they try to understand the change. So I would say that. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Are there any further questions from our audience, from our colleagues? Peter, please. Just a second, the microphone is coming, so everyone can listen your question.
Thank you very much. So Peter Estij, Airbus. So it looks already very complete, but I'm sure you have other wishes which you could include in this tool. So what are the things you already see you could go further? So what are the next steps?
Yeah, actually, we just presented the module for the turnaround coordinators, but currently we are still moving forward and we are developing other modules for other stakeholders. For example, we are developing a module for CAS Ops Control Center, so they can monitor the whole operation. And as I said during the presentation, we are targeting to automate as many data as possible. So we are targeting camera vision to automate activities like fuel truck, cabin cleaning, or any other activity happening around the aircraft. And we are also targeting to, why not, to include other activities that are not below the wings.
Thank you. And maybe just a follow-up question. Do you also share the data with the airport?
Yes.
Any other question from our audience, from colleagues? Yes, there's a lady behind that. You.
Hi. This sounds like a very exciting project to have all this on, digitized platform. I just was curious, do you have some way to capture this entire process on video and link it? Like, let's say we have to do an incident investigation. Would we know exactly what happened? Because that would be a major tool for our investigation purposes. Thank you.
Yes, this is a plan. By next year, we will use the camera vision to record all the incidents. The idea is to be more proactive. So we are targeting to reduce the number of incidents. So what we are targeting is with the camera vision technology to be able to detect the threat before it happens.
So room for the last question eventually. Otherwise, please, the gentleman. Then we will have to close the session as there's other speakers after us.
First of all, a really cool app. And I had a question regarding the offloads, because is it only possible to track where the offloaded bag is when using ULDs, or is that also possible for example, bulk cargo?
Yeah, we use narrow bodies and wide bodies, and we track all the baggage. And also we have an in-house solution where we can track the cargo.
Okay, and what is the solution to check the location of a bag in case it needs to be offloaded for example, in the bulk of a Boeing 737?
BRS, Baggage Reconciliation System.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, to elaborate a little bit more, in BRS, so our team, they manage also scanners at the aircraft side. So they will have the pop-up alert, the notification in the tablet, in the application. So they will tell you what is the loading position of the bag, the sequence. So you can have also an idea if it's at the bottom of the container, an example, or if it's in a bulk narrow-body aircraft, an example. So what was the loading position? For the team also to know if it was loaded at the very beginning. Also with the use of scanners, as Marta said, with BRS, so we use the interface and we provide accurate data to the teams to expedite the overall process. Okay, thank you.
So thank you so much for all your questions. Here we are at the conference. We can connect people, so reach out for Marta and other colleagues. I mean, if you want to have more information, please, Sean, over to you for the next session. And thank you so much for all speakers.
Thank you.
Thank you.